Night City. It's a city unlike any other, where at least it was at first. However, it's been a while now since V stepped foot here, and their day-to-day now has become pretty familiar. However, with the news that they only have a few months left to live, it was maybe a time to change things up a bit, modify their day-to-day life, and also make themselves so powerful that they truly become that iconic legend of Night City, feared by so many on the streets. So in this scenario that I have created, V has done all they can to save themselves. They have saved Somi from the NUSA, trying to take her back to continue their research in the old net. They have journeyed into Mikoshi and said their final goodbyes to Johnny and ventured back into the real world where they would live out the rest of their internal clock. Now it's their opportunity to really explore more of what is out there in Night City, learn new skills, gather new weapons, and also relax within Night City with some new things to immerse themselves within. But this is all possible thanks to this video's partnership with Nexus Mods, who wanted me to show you all the possibilities of modding Cyberpunk and giving you this brand new experience with just the click of a button. Nexus's combination of collections and having a premium membership allows you to install hundreds of gameplay, graphic, weapon, immersion, and quest mods to your game without having to go through hundreds of clicks and setups. With a premium membership, you can install this incredible mod collection named Welcome to Night City in just the click of one button. Press the latest version, open up Vortex, and boom, you will have over 250 mods installed into your game, with some being explored in this video today. To this day, I have over 300 mods installed, and it's helped me make content for a good few years now, and it's all thanks to Nexus Mods and the mod authors that share their creation on that site, and the same applies to other games I cover on this channel. So before we check out what life would be like for V if they and Night City were fully modified now, why not get yourself over to Nexus Mods by clicking the link in the description below and upgrade your account with premium membership to download this collection with uncapped download speeds, plus auto updates anytime the collection updates, and no more ads too, giving you mods that just revamp your whole experience whilst also keeping it feel like the original Cyberpunk experience as well. So use my link below to get yourself premium and get modding with Nexus Mods and enjoy the power mods can have on your game. But with that said, let's actually dive into the video. This is how you can live as a fully modded V in a new, refreshing Night City. You've just ventured back from your legendary raid on Arasaka's tower in the heart of Night City. You've joined the ranks of the legends such as Morgan Blackhand, Rogue, and Johnny Silverhand, and not only dealt a vital blow to the mega corporation, but were able to dive deep down into their basement, discover their secrets of the Soul Killer program, and integrate with their database of Mikoshi, utilizing the incredible but terrifying AI of Alt Cunningham. But it's come with the horrible news that within 6 months you will be dead, and there is nothing you can really do about it. The news hits you hard. Yes, you will finally be free from the internal voice of an old rocker from a past time, but now you have to find your purpose for the last few months before it all goes dark, or your soul is uploaded into the ether for eternity. As you leave Mikoshi, there's a new look to the world. You venture back through the neon streets you idolized once, hoping to become this absolute legend that you are today. You notice some changes to Night City thanks to their, what would appear, new budget thanks to Jefferson Perez now becoming the city mayor. The city's advertisement posters seem to be much higher in quality, where the things being advertised pop out of the paper, almost wanting to grab you with whatever they're trying to sell you. And on top of that, you notice the billboards are also moving more than you noticed before. They're animated. And again, like with the paper posters, what they're selling looks so much more appealing and catches your eye everywhere you go. When you venture more into the city, you also notice that maybe all of Johnny and Samurai's influence on the city was in your head. The logos that once seemed to be on all of the walls around every single corner are now gone. I mean, is there any surprise? Samurai's days were almost 50 years ago. Their cultural significance is certainly gone now, with only a few actually caring about their music and being obsessed about them. Apart from that, they are just seen as a relic from the past. And on top of that, many still view them as the terrorists responsible for the Night City Holocaust, especially Johnny, so their anarchistic way of life isn't always something to celebrate. That all said, you feel like your eyes have been upgraded at some point, or at least your awareness of the world around you has gone up by a lot as well, because the city seems different in a good way. Everything just seems sharper. Your TV pops out of the screen more, with the famous adverts of the food companies looking incredibly crisp and tasty, if that's the correct word for it. Your own personal terminal seems to have much more of a clean look, with the wallpaper being extremely neutral, and traffic on the streets seem to be visible from much further out. Everything just looks more alive, and you suddenly feel like the city has become much larger in scale and has more life going on within it. But it does come with a price, as gangs seem to be far more active now and seem to be wanting to pick more fights with the NCPD. Maybe the police budget has run extremely low now and the gangs have noticed, or just realised that whilst you were on your personal journey, this was all happening in the background and you just didn't realise until now. That said, the NCPD presence is far higher than it ever was before, and you start seeing Max Tac even on the streets, just chilling there, waiting for something to happen. You also notice that the Valentinos seem to be little different now, and now many of them were wielding gold machetes, which seems very fitting, especially as in the end, this group were originally a poser gang set out to hit up women and look the best they can. It's only now in 2077 where they have become a bit more aggressive. Passing by the warring streets, you finally reach your apartment at the H10 mega block in Watson. A sense of relief fills your body as you finally rest in your apartment once again, but you realise that whilst it's nice to have your old bed again, maybe it was time for a change. Maybe it was time to vary up the decor to something that is more you. The next morning you wake up and notice something you've never seen before, an active control on your apartment window. This now smart glass that has been installed on the window and also on your appliances on other apartments allows you to have a new personal terminal where you can access your messages on the holo, receive the latest Night City news and stock market news, as well as control what type of environment you want in your apartment at this point in time, be that day settings opening your blinds for you, nighttime turning off all of your electronics and shutters for a nice cozy night, as well as a much needed party button to allow you to let off some steam and hear the latest music going on the radio. But as you look around your small room, you also think to yourself, maybe it is time for a change in design, and as you access your new personal terminal, you go through all of the different designs that fit your style. But as you do, you also think to yourself, now that Johnny has gone, maybe it's time to get a new companion for all of your other apartments across the town to make sure you never get lonely again. Granted, your mega building still has nibbles to keep you company, but you can't keep dragging them around the city. So maybe it's time to use those eddies and put them to good use, getting yourself a cat for each of your apartments. Over the years, animals have become almost obsolete in Night City. There was a reason for this, and that was all thanks to an epidemic that spread throughout the city, killing thousands in the process. After that, many animals were killed to make sure it never happened again, especially the bird population. But there was one the city government looked at keeping, and that was the cats, simply because they were extremely popular for people in apartments, but it was also to make sure the birds' population was kept non-existent. Thanks to that very fact, you are now able to grab your own cats for your own apartments. When you go into the North Side Motel, you grab the local cat there named Jack. In the Corpo Plaza, you get a slightly different one, very fitting with how the Corpo types like to live, surrounded by the latest cyberware and technology, and here have a holographic female cat named Leah, who can change her appearance throughout her day. At the Glen, you grab the cat named Gnarly, who enjoys the scenic views over the city. Over in Japantown is your new cat of Elmo, and finally out within the rotten part of Dogtown in your lovely destroyed apartment now lives Susie, who most likely has become very familiar with the brutal nature of the area she now inhabits. As V, you finally have something to talk to again who can just listen, can be there in your downtimes, and won't give you any lip back if you decide you wanted to go one way or another. That said, it's still a cat, and it will definitely judge you regardless of what you decide, so maybe it is just Johnny all over again. Once you finalize all of your apartments across the city, getting them to look the specific way that you want them to, as well as get your furry friend nice and comfy at their home, you immediately get changed into your funky outstanding outfit with wacky helmets and bulletproof armor on the outside of your random luminous jacket, and venture out to see the city again to see what you can do in your final few months of your life. Before you go any further, you stand there for a a moment taking in the world around you and just breathe in the neon metropolis just for a few moments. As you stand there for hours, you remember the lessons learned from your Zen master you meet on your journey. Sometimes patience and taking it all in is the best form of meditation, and with that guidance you just stand there hour after hour just watching the world go past as it goes through weather changes and different times of day. A pleasant reminder that it's okay to just sit back and relax for a moment, even if technically this would mean you would be absolutely exhausted just standing there and most likely starving by the end as well. After that, you go to seek out things to do within the city, hoping for something to distract you from your coming fatality. Venturing out into the local bars, you sit there drinking your time away, looking around you as the bartenders do their business and other patrons discuss life in the neon city. You realize that you don't have to just drink on your own here. You could call a friend and have them join you for some general chat about past missions and just general things, allowing you to relax and hang around with someone who truly knows what you've been going through. The bars that are the real hotspots around the city are plentiful, but out in Watson they are places such as Tom's Diner, Lizzie's, the home of the Mocks, and a great place for Judy to fully relax with her being part of this small gang. There is also the solo hotspot of the Afterlife, which would amaze all of your friends, I'd imagine, as not many are allowed in there, especially if you were to be the owner of the club by this point in time after the events of Mikoshi. Out in Westbrook you would have the Lily Park, Dark Matter, and Showing Ma. Haywood would have the quirky name Chubby Buffaloes and Dicky Twister, Pinche Polo, and Valentino's go-to bar of the El Coyote Kojo. Out in the more terrifying areas of Pacifica and the Badlands, the Nomad Camp would of course be a perfect safe place to drink with friends, especially Pan Am, who would most likely prefer drinking here rather than anywhere else. But there's also the Sunset Motel, a spot where Pan Am and V first had a big drink here to celebrate a past mission. Certainly a place to go to remember how far they have both come. And finally, out within the work district of Santo Domingo, there are the bars of Burger, Kenmore Diner, the Market, Paez, Captain Caliente, and the bar where Johnny Silverhand's band Samurai first performed back in the day, Red Dirt. You also feel like this is finally time to enjoy the local cuisine as well, maybe remembering how much Jackie enjoyed his noodles back before meeting with Dex, and that has whet your appetite. And now it's time to see what it's all about, probably even better after a few drinks as you tuck into some artificial meat. After stopping for some nice drinks and food around the city with your close friends, partying it up on the dance floor with some of them, and also reflecting on good times, what else can you do in this neon city now? Surely it's not just killing and drinking all of the time. As you think about that deep question, you stumble into a local gambling hotspot and find that what was once closed off to you, joining a roulette, blackjack, or even pachinko machine, you are now free to spend your eddies however you like and are able to spend your last remaining moments in this world gambling your hardened blood eddies on pressing a button over and over again in the hope of gaining a few more eddies to then repeat the process. That, or you could pretend to be James Bond and suss out your opponents at blackjack or roulette and try to outbid them, and maybe, if you really wanted to, use your cyberware to get the better of your opponents. Of course you can't actually do that, as that would be a death sentence, but just an idea of what could be happening in the world. Remembering how good you were at roulette within the Black Sapphire during Kurt Hansen's party, it's no surprise that this would be something to come back to and play on a regular basis. Whilst it's no replacement for a life of being a merc and taking out rival netrunners, it's certainly a good fun thing to just play when on a downtime. But whilst all of these distractions are certainly fun and just things to do in this city, you remember the words of Dexter Deshawn back when you were just a small merc trying to get by. Do you really want to live the life he wanted, where it was all about living a quiet life, probably enjoying the gambling life and lots of TV in his luxury penthouse or wherever he lived? Or was it to go out in a blaze of glory? You only have 6 months left to live. Are you really going to stop doing what made you a legend in the first place? With that in mind, you choose to seek out that life again, and with it, look at other past actions to see what more you can do in your time, and look to one legend of David Martinez, walking through a new tour of his past few months on this earth, seeing everywhere he ventured during his descent into cyberpsychosis. Here you would venture to the Corpo Plaza and see the location where David first spotted his future lover Lucy, to the waterfront outside the Ripperdoc Clinic where he would get his Sandevistan installed, to Japantown where the group would have their first party, to the wall outside of Pilar and Rebecca Rebecca's apartment, the barrier down the street from the XBD studio where Trauma Team arrived, the garage where David takes Lucy to safety, to the Maelstrom-owned Tantan's lobby, back to Japantown where Rebecca would catch up and speak to David later in his descent into madness, to the fix to Faraday's hot tub and balcony, and finally ending in the Corpo Plaza where that infamous flattening event would take place and the final battle occurred as well. Venturing on this tour as V, you realise what life is about. It's about going out in that blaze of glory. What is the point in just watching time pass when you have the skills to make a difference and make a statement in this city? And with that, you look to find new ways to advance yourself and to really make that final statement in this city. Whilst you at this point in time have tons of cyberware and weaponry within your own apartment storages, sometimes it's just not enough for the task ahead. Sometimes you just want more and more, and luckily thanks to many of the factions and corporations out there, there are many new guns and cyberware to acquire to help you stand out even more. Luckily for you, the NCPD have stored away some of their more prototype weapons that weren't used very often, but have very unique things about them to help you in battle, starting with the gun known as the Ride-Along. Coated in animated NCPD colors, this smart rifle helps the NCPD shut down individuals by firing non-lethal airburst at them, eventually hitting them enough that it forces them back and onto the floor, allowing for the arrest to happen. But not only that, it's built with a solid grip that when used as a melee weapon will instantly incapacitate targets that are either on the floor or are running low on stamina. Originally gifted to Jefferson Perez during his campaign, this weapon was a sign that the NCPD had his back, but now it's in your hands and you can use it to your heart's content. The next is known as Hard Boiled, a handgun that increases its damage over time and by the end will completely obliterate a target. A gun used by the NCPD that is perfect for those targets who keep charging them and will not be stopped by non-lethal rounds. The final new weapon from the NCPD is the marvelous Timeout Baton, which is not only a great melee weapon for smacking people into place, but is a perfect addition for those officers having to deal with members of Maelstrom or anyone with a lot of cyberware. Smacking an individual with this electric baton will eventually override a person's cyberware, rendering them completely out of action for a good time and also allowing them to feel a lot more pain with any further attacks. Obviously perfect for police officers in this city that is obsessed with cyberware, but now in your hands as V, it is perfect for taking out those cyber psychos who charge you in a dark alley. And speaking of cyber psychos, MaxTac also has a new weapon that lays there out on the streets, which can come in handy for anything you want to do in Night City. This weapon is simply named the MaxTac Silencer. For this, MaxTac teamed up with Militech for some of the best weapons technology out there, and that is exactly what they got with this tech precision rifle, which, like with the Timeout Baton, also is able to completely silence all cyberware on an individual, and if fully charged can turn into a fully automatic rifle, capable of taking out multiple cyber psychos if the need arise. So now you don't have to charge headfirst into battle with your NCPD baton. Now you can take enemies out from a distance with this heavily prized MaxTac weapon designed and made by Militech. The Tiger Claws have also brought with them some of the best weapons seen in Japan, and ones that fit with what the gang see as being efficient in their day-to-day. The first one is a Super Preem Sniper, which is said to be rigged with a neural uplink that streams every kill straight from the shooter's own eyes, where Tiger Eye fans are itching for the next clip. This whole sniper rewards outrageously cool kills, be that jumping off a building and 360 no-scoping, or just by sliding into a battle completely devastating the target at the other end of the scope. Once that kill is made, it is uploaded to the net forever, possibly for people to watch back as BDs or something else that is equally as sick. Bushido is the next one, which is on the other side of the spectrum. This gun was designed to keep that honor when it came to duels and rewards 1v1 combat. Only working with other humans, this gun will almost force you into a duel with another person, increasing the damage dealt to them, but will lessen the damage if you were to focus on someone else during the battle. The most important part of it, however, is not to turn your back on your enemy. With this gun, you have to face your foe, and if you don't, you will be seen as dishonorable and be hit with a blood cost because of it. Want to be seen as the most honorable warrior on the battlefield? Then the Tiger Claw's gun of the Bushido will make it happen. Finally, for them is the Oni's Horde, a major bat used by debt collectors to make sure they get what they want. They want those eddies. as well as your head. Using this massive bat in combat, killing a target will completely replenish all of your resources such as health items, grenades and adrenaline for more bloodlust. However, it will also refill you with some extremely lovely but strong sake, so throughout a big battle you will most likely be going around drunk. Still, it's good fun to clobber some bad guys whilst also feeling completely off your face. The Mocs have also got a few weapons at their disposal now on offer for those special people who want them. The first is named Sloppy Seconds, one of the best SMGs you could ask for, which has almost no recoil whatsoever. The goal of this weapon is to spread around disease as fast as a Joy Toy on discount night, as it not only shoots bullets at a rapid pace, but is packed full of poison which spreads throughout their bodies, and on top of that, the bullets also ricochet from one person to the next, allowing for massive damage in battle. The best part of all of it, the scope is a broken heart that opens when you look down. Ultimately, it's the gun you need to go break some hearts. The other gun is named Glitch Bitch, a high voltage precision rifle that was originally intended for those corpo types who loved a bit of shock therapy from some tasers, let's say. However, one member has upped it a little bit more and turned it into a deadly rifle that will kill in horrific ways. Because of how popular this new weapon has become, it is a real selling point in the heart of their gang, being purchased from the bartender at Lizzie's bar. There is of course one other Mocs weapon, however let's just say you have to find it for yourself, and as a hint, it's within the good old red light district of Jig Jig Street. Nomads unsurprisingly also have a ton of weapons handcrafted for their ventures, accessible for whenever V might need it. Inferno V8R is an insane gun only to use by insane people. This SMG might start slow when first being fired, but when it's held down it only speeds up the fire rate, also increasing your movement speed, allowing for utter carnage on the battlefield, setting your enemies on fire and spreading it all over. However, it comes with a deadly catch, and that is, if you keep this gun firing for a good while, the heat will consume you as well and completely take over, killing you in the process if you leave it too long. The only way to stop it? Well, you gotta run fast at all times when firing to get some air into that monster SMG. The Trailblazer is a shotgun that is energized by solar arrays recycled from Satwave power stations. This gun will completely obliterate you with electrical energy, and if a target is shocked by the first shot, the second will hit them with thermal damage and can cause a massive explosion as well. Once again, another tampered with gun that can destroy a whole neighborhood if the user so wished. Finally for them is the T-Pew, which is ultimately a nice solid tomahawk that is coated with deadly venoms of rattlers that are bred by specific nomads. Because they are purpose bred to make these venoms, there is absolutely no antidote at all for them, and they will ultimately die because of it. But the worst thing is, if you are doused with this venom, you will suddenly turn into a stormtrooper and have the worst accuracy ever seen in the world, as you waddle around the battlefield desperately trying to get back to your senses again, slowly being poisoned, and truly, it is a horrible way to go, if you ask me. There's so many other new weapons out there in Night City that you can now access that becomes clear to you on your travels, like this Arasaka prototype shotgun named the Ronin that when overcharged damages you, the operator, but also deals so much damage to its target. Or there is the Midnight Arms MA70 BSG Smart LMG, which locks on super well and completely obliterates its targets. And there's even this extremely sleek rifle named Special Delivery, which fires high impact explosive devices into a person, turning them into a walking mine. And when you start a reload, that explosive device will set off, causing utter carnage on the battlefield. As you venture over the city, seeing all the potential in these new weapons, you also think to yourself, that's great, I can take these to the Kabuki gun range and just play with them for hours on end, playing around with all that makes them unique. But you also think to yourself, what can I do in terms of cyberware? Can I become more than I was before I went into Makoshi? Well, luckily, like with the weapons, a ton of cyberware has also hit the streets too, allowing you to change your approach to being a solo or a netrunner. Known as Black Chrome, these include pieces of cyberware like Skunk, a nervous system enhancement which releases a toxic gas whenever someone were to attack you, causing them to be harmed instantly and also hinder their movement speed and their melee damage. A brilliant piece of chrome that comes in handy for anyone wanting to make it into the boxing scene, but that said, it'll probably be banned from use in that, and you might trigger it going on just walking in the streets and bumping into random people, which wouldn't be really ideal. Other forms of cyberware armor are available for people, and if you have watched my cyberware video before, you'll know that this is sewn onto the skin itself, giving you ultimate protection from whatever you want, and it can be as thick or thin as you so wish. On the intercommentary system, you can get the new Aegis Shield system, and whilst it does cost you some RAM for if you want to hack, it gives the user an absolute ton of protection from ranged attacks from people giving you the edge in battle, especially from things like snipers. Whereas on the legs, the cyberware known as Fortress legs provide the user with some of the most solid armor ever seen that can reduce all damage from both range attacks and recoil reduction, allowing you to never be knocked down. However, it comes with one catch. That is, your legs are literally metal tanks, and with that, your movement will be majorly hindered, but that doesn't really matter, does it? No one is going to be able to shoot your leg off anymore with this cyberware. Other pieces include new circulatory systems. A smart blood pump will allow you to heal yourself on the go when it detects you are low on vitals, helping you to keep going in battle without having to do anything or have any medical supplies on you. Synthetic lungs give you more speed and increased jump heights, giving you the edge when chasing someone down or getting to a location fast, and even breathing underwater. And Juice Tank also passively heals you on the go, also increasing your melee attacks and movement speed. However, it does lessen over time and is of no help if being attacked from behind. And let's not get started on the new cyber weapons such as the MaxTac Mantis blades that are just devastating to anyone who is on the other end of them, as they completely render your cyberware useless and will rip your head off in about one hit. Yarn Graper is an extremely powerful lightning projectile launcher which can cause absolutely tons of carnage on the streets, and on top of that, so much neuroware is out there now as well, allowing you to fully customize all of your new implants into your body, helping you learn a vast array of new battle techniques with just one small RAM upgrade, and allowing your cyberware to be truly devastating. As you see all of this out there in the world, you realize there are so many possibilities to stand out as the legend you already are. You can now overwhelm anyone you can come into contact with and cause utter chaos if you so wish, and as someone with so much experience now, you also realize your skills are only improving over time, figuring out how you can stealth behind people and even pick their pockets without alerting them, and grabbing all of their precious things to then witness in your crammed, shiny new inventory. However, if you don't want to be a new stealthy warrior with tons of new things to learn in your final few months, you could totally become a cyber psycho and tear up the whole of Night City. And with all of that new shiny gear that you have, you could probably do that and take on many MaxTac in the process, and you might even survive it and wipe them all out completely. However, whilst that would be impressive, did you really want to come back from Mikoshi to be remembered as an utter psycho? Maybe you did. Well, if not, what else can you do out there now that you have this brand new chrome and weapons to use in your travels? Well, thanks to El Capitan setting you up on your quest to search for all of his new vehicles, a whole city of courier jobs are now available to you to make as many eddies as you can without worrying about them ending. With this all said, 2077 is coming to an end, and maybe just maybe you want your V to go out in a real blaze of glory and want to see yourself come to an end in the city that made you. Maybe you see the world as unchallenging now, and maybe it's a chance to see how far you can push it. Well, thanks to a unique piece of software, you can experience all of that, as the world around you will punish you for any small mistakes when tackling a mission. Known as the Thing, your V would be put through the toughest test they have ever experienced in their life, where every person they meet will pack a punch and death will be around every corner. It would be down to your cyberware, hacking skills, abilities and weaponry to get through this ultimate test, and if you were to succeed at all, you could truly call yourself the biggest legend in all of Night City. However, many have died thanks to its sheer ruthlessness. But with that all said, the world is now V's oyster, and there are so many new things to see and do in this new refreshing Night City. Maybe you just want the thrill of collecting new guns, or maybe you just want to sit back and immerse yourself in conversation with your best friends, or maybe you just want to gamble away your days, forming new romances with odd acquaintances, or have a dance with an NUSA agent, or maybe you do want to challenge yourself to the highest level and become that legend. Well, if that is the case, then welcome to Night City once again. This is your chance to explore it all and enjoy everything this new neon world has on offer. For you, that bright, bold, brave merc known as V, the world is now your oyster. I want to say a huge thanks for watching this video and a big thanks to Nexus for sponsoring it and giving me the opportunity to explore some of these brilliant Cyberpunk mods and turn it into a really immersive experience, and for me to make a style of video that I really enjoy making, and it's just something different and more RPG-esque in style. As mentioned in my intro, I've used Nexus Mods for so many games over the years and I cannot recommend the site enough, so do go check out all of the different collections on their site, especially for Welcome to Night City, and also check out their premium membership benefits as well. And there's so many other mods as part of this collection I haven't even had the chance to explore in this video. Small tweaks to gunplay, small tweaks to how the world works, ragdoll physics that you don't see in the original game. It feels natural, but it also is completely modded, so really do go check it out. It just makes for a great replay factor. I also want to say thanks to my patrons for their endless support, including my small fishes, my YouTube channel Wise Ones, Video Gamer 75, Sith Lord 906, Planet Nanontarium, and V3XXE, my big fishes Ben Chance, This Mind of Mine, and Anthony Bonfiglio, my shark Dan F, my Megalodons Hazy Thoughts and Sinus, and my incredible starfish Nanohertz. If you enjoyed this at any point, please do leave a like and subscribe, and until the next one, I shall see you there. Cheers.